What's up, guys? I'm back here with another movie review. I went and seen Joker today. It just came out on the 4th, so let's get right into it. If you have not seen the movie, stop this video, spoilers alert, and come back later. This pretty much is solely really based on the character Joker, played by Joaquin Phoenix. And this is a little bit of a different take on him, but I actually like it. I like this one better than the Jared Leto character in the Suicide Squad. His was alright, but Joaquin Phoenix is better than that one. And I like this one better than Jack Nicklaus, from the original Batman. Even though that was good, Heath Ledger's is still good, better though. But this one was good. This one follows, like I said, the Joker, and his name is Arthur Fleck. And basically, he is a person that he basically works for this company as a clown. And other companies hire him, or hire his company for like promotional stuff, and they dress up as clowns. And he is also going to therapy because he's kind of has mental illness, and he's taking medication. So at the beginning of the movie, he's doing a job for this company, like a pawn shop type company that's going out of business, and these about 5 kids beat him up in the alley, and then after that, one of his co-workers finally gives him a gun to protect himself, and he's also living with his mother, Penny, and in his little apartment there in Gotham. And all he pretty much does is go to a therapist and go to work, and he takes care of his mother. So finally, he gets hired to do a job there in this children's hospital, and he eventually gets fired from his job because a gun fell out. And he basically is sitting there on the subway, and these 3 drunk kids, probably in their early 20s, are drunk on the train messing with this gal, and he starts laughing, and they start beating him up, and he ends up shooting and killing all 3 of them. And then come to find out that these 3 boys, these 3 young men, were working for Thomas Wayne. And Thomas Wayne, Martha Wayne are in this movie, and come to find out that his mother, that Arthur's mother, is writing Thomas Wayne about every day for, I think, like the last 30 years, because she used to work for him 30 years ago, and she keeps writing and still never writes her back. And then at one point he finds out that reads one of the letters that his mom was writing to Thomas Wayne, and finds out that in the letter she says that Arthur is Thomas Wayne's son. And by this time he's really kind of starting to lose it a little bit more and more, because Gotham City, their mayor and everybody's cutting back budgets, so he's not going to be able to go to the therapist anymore and get his medications and stuff. So he finally becomes, by this point, is off his meds, and then he starts slowly losing his mind. And then after the murders, the cops end up interrogating him and kind of find out that his mother's in the hospital with the stroke. And then so he goes and ends up going to Arkham State Hospital. He goes to the asylum part, and because he had, at one point before that, went and visited Thomas Wayne, and Thomas Wayne is basically saying that he was adopted, and that he really wasn't his son, because he had actually visited them the day before, and Thomas Wayne's son was out there playing Bruce. So, Batman's in it, but he's just a little kid. He's an adult yet, probably about 8, 9, if that old. And then, so, he goes back to the Arkham Asylum, and he actually finds out that he is adopted, and his mother, the gal Penny, isn't his biological mother, and she actually used to stay there at the hospital, and he finds out that she's psychotic and bipolar disorder, multiple personalities, and so he ends up suffocating her in the hospital later. And I think that's finally when he had his psychotic break, and it starts going crazy. And he's watched, kind of throughout the movie, you've been seeing Robert De Niro. He plays Murray Fletcher, I think his last name is. Excuse me. And he's like a talk show host. And Arthur's, trying to be a comedian. And he was kind of featured some of the stand-up things that he's done. So he gets introduced, on there. And he eventually becomes a guest on the show. And by this time, he dyed his hair green. He paints his face white. He has, like the little black lines going down his eyes. And he's actually wearing, like you see in the trailer, that bright orange and purple suit. And that kind of reminds me of, like, kind of a throwback to the first Batman, what the Joker would wear in that movie. And almost reminded me of that. So he's, doing this, wearing that throughout the rest of the movie. And then on the show, he finally admits that he actually killed the three guys in the subway. And he's finally coming to terms with it and accepting it. And then he actually ends up shooting Burry and killed him right on live TV. And then he gets arrested, and throughout the whole movie, you see all these clowns popping up, and it's the whole city's rioting, and everybody's dressed in clown masks, because they're trying to get a better city, because they're on strike. The trash is, and Thomas Wayne is trying to run for mayor, and nobody likes it. So he goes out, and after he killed Murray, the whole city's on fire now. And he's sitting in the back of the cop car looking out the window, and it kind of, reminded me of Heath Ledger's Joker. Excuse me. And, in the Dark Knight. And so they get in an accident, and they get to a scene where it's kind of ripped right out of the comic books. You see Martha and Thomas Wayne and Bruce Wayne. They're walking down the alley out of the theater because everybody's riding, and they actually get shot. Just his parents, Bruce and Martha, get shot and killed, just like the in the movie, but in the comic book. And so Joker actually he survives the accident, and everybody's cheering for him now because he's alive, and he gets put in Arkham Asylum. I guess that's where he got put, and pretty much ends there with him in the asylum. And I kind of think that this was actually a really good take on the Joker. I think Joaquin Phoenix did, I think, the most incredible job of playing Joker and really portraying a mentally ill person that, is suffering from a psychotic break. And to me, it really seems, like real. And that's how it comes out. He's so good. And since they killed, Bruce Wayne's parents, I kind of wonder if maybe they might continue this as have a second part in like another Joker 2 or something, or maybe Joaquin Phoenix comes back and escapes from Arkham Asylum and fights Batman or something. I would really like to see that. They should, I think you should have like Joker 2, and have Batman in it. Robert Patterson maybe. I don't know if they ever will. And there are no end credit scenes, which is kind of surprising me. I guess that's a Marvel thing. But that's pretty much, in a nutshell, the movie. I thought it was a very good movie. There's some violence with it, but it's very well done. And I think Joaquin Phoenix is probably the second best Joker. There's Heath Ledger, and then he's probably like the third. It probably goes like Heath Ledger, Jack Nicholson, and then Joaquin Phoenix. I enjoyed it. It is rated R, so you might not want to take your kids to it, but if you're a comic book fan, you definitely should go see it. It's just kind of a gritty movie. It's really good. Well, that's going to do it for my review. I give it a 10 out of 10 stars. So go ahead, and if you enjoyed it, go ahead and like my video, share it, comment on it. I'd like to hear feedback. And while you're at it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you can be updated when I do upload. And I'll try to keep uploading more as I can. And go ahead and check out the rest of my content on my page. And until next time.